over the past few weeks as you took the time to connect with your higher self and even envision that king version of you that allows you to be more, do more, and have more. You carried that into communing with your creator. And you'll notice that I didn't post the 7th day this past week in hopes that you would commune without a prompt. That is your relationship, to make of it what you want. But spending time there, how often? Is that daily? Is that a couple times a week? How long? What are you trying to get from that? This is something that you can build on that becomes intentional. I'm trying to commune. I'm not just speaking. I'm not just praying to a distant figure, but I'm there, right? So now what we'll do is we'll carry this into the king mentality. The king mentality is all about not just your mindset moment moment to moment, but it's kind of a deep sense of who I am. It's your belief system. It's the meanings you make about the things in front of you. It's learning to notice that you have a perception and it's informed by filters created from things in the past. It's like we have these lenses on and we see the world that we live in, we see ourselves through these lenses, and it's not always accurate. So developing the king mentality goes back to this idea of, I want to live in empowerment, but I also have to be realistic with what's what. Can I look at the state of affairs in my kingdom and be honest about it? Also, can I check the beliefs that I might be having that are limiting about myself or others, and can I challenge those as well? And so, as we go into this king mentality, we're going to begin to look at, how am I thinking? And what are the thoughts that are leading to my emotions? Not just conscious thoughts. What are the deep-seated beliefs about myself? These faulty core beliefs, these automatic negative thoughts, right, that come up that lead me to feel certain ways that then lead me to do certain things. So as you develop your king mentality, you begin to go, what emotional state do I want to operate from, and what belief system about me will allow myself to create that? So, right, if you believe deep down to your core that you're capable, that you're lovable, that you're good, then you're going to feel less anxiety, helplessness, fear, anger, because you go, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. And I might be facing challenging things, but that's what kings do. And I'm going to push, and sometimes I'm not going to win, but I'm gaining experience and I'm going to keep going. And so one of the core things we want to address this week is learning to release limiting beliefs about self. It starts with self. And so in various ways, you've become aware of these, and being able to track down, what is this belief that's coming up, and have I agreed with it? We talked about the concept of agreeing with the adversary, right? We have experiences, the voice comes in and says, you blew it, you're not enough, it's because you're a failure, it's because you're a bad guy, it's because you're a jerk, you're a dick, you're a loser, an addict, you're bad husband, bad father, whatever it is, incapable, can't make enough money. Well, there's thousands, right? And the agreement is, you're right. That voice in my head, you're right. And it presents the evidence, and we see the past and we go, yep. And we begin to define ourselves by those limitations. And so even if we look in the past and we can see evidence that it was true, it doesn't have to be true today. And if you're in tune with your higher self, you're communing with your creator, then even if you have these bad habits or tendencies or whatever, they can change, right? And that's what the king mentality is this belief of, I can change, I can grow. I'm the king. I can create a kingdom. I wasn't handed a kingdom, I'm going to build one, right? So I want you to take some time to get in your mind, how would a king think? I remember hearing this this I don't know, conversation when Donald Trump was running for presidency the first time. And I don't know that the person was a supporter or against or whatever. I'm not sure what that was, but they said one of the things that's very unique is he's not bought and paid for. He has his own billions of dollars, and he said you can like him or hate him, but he's like, you don't know what it takes to become a billionaire. Like, those people think differently. They think at a higher level. They see bigger pictures and bigger opportunities. And that's what allows them to take risks and to create things that impact a lot of people, that bring in a lot of money. And so he was saying, he's like, you can't criticize something you don't understand. And I remember hearing that, and this isn't a political thing or about Trump or anything, but I remember thinking, there's people who face life same as I do, and they think differently. They believe differently, and that widens their opportunities because their perceptions maybe are more empowering, or their beliefs are rooted in I'm capable, it's confident, right? I'm good enough, I'm lovable, whatever the case is. And so begin to think, the type of person that wants my results, how do they think? Do they think defeated thoughts? Do they think victim thoughts? Do they think I'm going to take the path of least resistance? Do they think things should be handed to them, right? And so begin to create in your mind this idea of, how does a king think? How does a king use his mind? Right? And everything we're building on is the skill set internally to let the mind and the emotions step aside, to allow yourself to be led by your higher self, your higher values, your goals, your dreams, your commitments, and building the kingdom, building the man, the king, that can oversee the kingdom. And right, when that's informed by the Creator, by God, that becomes much more powerful. And so for me, the king mentality, I believe it's informed by Heavenly Father. You can think of this idea of self-esteem, and so many people have self-esteem conditionally when it's reinforced externally, which isn't self-esteem, it's other people esteem. So, right, if someone tells me I do a good job, or I make money, or I drive a nice car and people give me accolades, or, right, there's 1,000 ways to do this where we're getting, validation and things from other people, and then we feel good about ourselves, right? But if that goes away, we don't feel good about ourselves anymore. That's not self-esteem. And so the path, and this is why this comes after communing with Creator, is we want the Creator to inform us of who we are and what we're capable of, and have our true beliefs about our identity and purpose rooted in that communion. And so it comes to a point where you look at your past and you see learnings, you see adversity that you rose above. And you may say, no, I didn't rise, I fell. Well, you're here now. It didn't take you out completely. And even if you're in a place where you're like, I'm not in a good place, like that past is the present, like it's still not good. The king mentality is even more important to adopt, because it's this belief of, I can overcome. I can change, I can grow, I can learn, whatever it is. I have time, which is, right, we've talked about the most valuable asset, but it's finite. I don't know how much time I have. So I got to learn about who I am and live from that place. And when you know you're a king that's capable, you attempt bigger things. You don't shrink anymore. So ask yourself, am I done shrinking? And if so, how and who How will I rise to be the king I'm meant to be, and what will that look like? Who is that king? And so I'd like you to take out a journal or in your phone and just start to jot down whatever thoughts come about this, because your king mentality is the type of mentality you want to carry with you. And there's going to be some knowledge that comes in the form of what they call metacognition, the ability to think about how you think. And another concept called metacommunication, the ability to communicate about how you communicate. So noticing my mind is my mind and I'm in charge of my results. Will I allow my mind to be connected to my spirit, to God's spirit? And that connection informs the way I think. You may say the way you see the world. And let that inform the way you feel and the way you enter into interactions. What type of energy are you bringing? Are you bringing a defeated or, prideful, or, right? What type of energy do you bring to interactions to compensate for the lack of self-esteem in knowing who you really are, a king? So no guided process yet. First, we're going to begin to think about how we think and begin to think about how we want to think, primarily about ourselves and then about those around us. What do we think about love and marriage and your wife and your children and your relationship to them? What do you think and believe about sex and money and contribution? We're going to get really in tune with the way that our mind hasn't been our mind. So take some time to explore the mind that you have created that may not be serving you.